Hello, everyone. Benjamin Serven here from Black Sheep Global. Welcome to our channel. If you're a property manager, project manager, or user of Lead Simple, you're in the right place. In this video, I want to discuss the surprisingly simple way that we structure our processes here at BSG and how you can create powerful processes for your property management company if you structure them the same way. Let's dive in. Processes fall into a number of different common sections. But what we're going to talk about right now are some specific questions that you should ask every time that you're developing a new process. Every process needs to clearly define, when does this process begin? And this is true no matter what process you are creating. Every process should have a defined external trigger, right? How does this process start? In many cases, this process could be kicked off by another process. Sometimes a process is kicked off by an external input. For instance, a tenant who reaches out to you or an owner who reaches out to you. Some examples of this might be a work order, or you might have an owner who requests access to a property. You might walk them through the process of doing a property inspection themselves or accessing the property to find out exactly what it is that they want to find. Just a couple examples. Another important question: what are the process stakes? What are some of the risks? What are some outcomes that could be negative? What are some outcomes that could be positive? It's important to clearly define these, and this helps you to understand the potential problems that can happen during this process. And accommodating for these in your process, anticipating what might happen, allows you to pre-plan and pre-identify these issues. And by planning ahead, you're going to be able to make dealing with those problems much easier at the time that they happen. Now, another important part of this process is defining when it ends. The endpoint sounds like, well, of course, it ends when we're finished. But in many processes, you have multiple types of outcomes. You have positive outcomes, you have negative outcomes, and you may have more than one kind of positive or negative outcome. A great example here would be a lease renewal process. In the lease renewal process, a positive outcome would usually be considered the renewal of a lease. However, whether you consider a month-to-month lease as a positive or negative outcome is rather subjective, right? You get to decide whether that is something you are happy about or it's not really the best outcome. In addition to that, you have the potential various reasons that a renewal did not happen. A tenant chose to not renew, an owner chose to not renew, the property management company chose to not renew. Now, why do you have all of these different ways to measure? It allows you to capture the outcomes after the fact. Moving forward, what happens next? We want to measure and see what processes happen in relation to this one. This allows us to build in triggers to know what other processes might be affected by the behavior of this process. Very important step. Further, we'll document who are the internal team members who are involved in this process, so that we can assign tasks to the right people throughout the process. Next, we'll want to define what are the external contacts. Who is going to be involved in this process, but isn't going to be actively working in it. As an example, an owner or a tenant would be an external contact who isn't going to be actively using this process, but certainly has a very key role to play in the execution of the process. Lastly, we will define what are the steps of the process. Now, the process steps will break down into stages and then individual tasks. The stages should be the mile markers. For lack of a better way of saying it, these are the file folders that allow you to see in your drawer where your process is at in the overall process. You can also think of these as columns on a spreadsheet. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 allows you to see the process progressing to the end of the line. Your individual tasks that live in your stages will be some of the specifics that need to happen in the process. Examples of these would be phone calls, emails, looking different pieces of information up, research, various kinds of tasks that can live here. Now, of course, you will document these in 3 different sections. You'll have your active stages, your completed stages, and your canceled stages. Again, these canceled and completed tie back to the outcomes that we talked about up here. Well, the bulk of the process should always live here in your active stages. Thanks for watching. I hope that this video gave you a clearer idea of how to streamline your processes. If you like this video and you'd like to see more like it, give us a thumbs up hit that subscribe button. Or if you got questions and want to talk about improving your operations, please leave a comment or visit our website. Catch you in the next video. Keep standing out from the flock with better processes.